You believe it was created in a lab, but you also believe it was intentionally released.
Not only I believe, I have the intelligence evidence and also I have the scientific evidence. Virus genome is like fingerprint. There is no other parameter you can induce in. And this virus before it was not harmful. Come from that, not harmful. They leave the evidence in the virus genome. You should not equal it to the flu because influenza and other pathogens we know now, it's from nature. So they have their natural character, but here back to SARS-2. As I said, this is purposely equipped with the lethal part attack human. This enhances the function which target human. There is only one truth and lies cannot be perfect. And don't think we are too weak to tell the truth, to spread the truth. We can do our best, even if it is a regime like Chinese Communist Party, even if it's an international organization like WHO. We have the fact, we have the power. We can use our action and using our voice to let more people understand this truth. Don't waste time. We don't have much time to waste.
Dr. Yan, if you had stayed in China, would you be dead now? The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is...
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Dr. Meng Yan, the Chinese virologist and whistleblower who is risking her life to tell the world that SARS-CoV-2, also known as COVID-19, was created in a laboratory in Wuhan, China. In December 2019, you were requested by the University of Hong Kong to investigate a quote-unquote pneumonia outbreak in the Wuhan district of China that would later grow into the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic. You concluded from your findings that this virus did not originate in nature, but was human-made, and that the Chinese government was attempting to cover it up. After making this information public and fearing for your life, you were forced to flee your homeland in China and have been exiled in America ever since. You've been widely criticized and discredited by both the Chinese government and the World Health Organization, and been banned from Twitter for expressing your views. You are here today to speak about what you found, why this investigation was ignored, and the reason the Chinese government wants to silence you. Dr. Yan, welcome to London Real.
Hi, Mr. Rose. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Before we get started, I want to announce that we are streaming now on our new Digital Freedom platform, which is a censorship-free, independent broadcasting system that is of the people, by the people, for the people, and available exclusively on our website at freedomplatform.tv. Can everyone watching us now please share this link via the sidebar to any and all of your social media channels? Let me repeat that. Can everyone watching please share this link now via the sidebar to any and all of your social media channels? This is important. Simply ask your friends and family to give us 15 minutes and then they can decide. Dr. Yan, I pledge to you and everyone watching us that none of this conversation will be edited, censored, removed, or banned, and that anyone in the world can watch the full version of this episode free at freedomplatform.tv/Yan. Thanks to the generous donations of over 38,000 people around the world that we affectionately call the London Real Army. For anybody wanting to become a founding member of the Digital Freedom Platform, they can visit freedomplatform.tv/give to donate and fight with us on the front lines to protect our human rights. Here at London Real, we've been a platform for free speech since 2011. And Dr. Yan, I'm excited to have you here today. So much I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you, about the past 10 months of your life, the ups and the downs. But first of all, I want to ask, how are you doing emotionally? You've had so much to deal with. You're living in a strange land. You've got big organizations trying to discredit you. You're being banned on social media. At the same time, you're showing up on these major news outlets like Fox News and places in the UK. What's it like being you the past couple months?
That is a very interesting question. But for me, I can tell you, my emotion most of the time is coming down like you see me now. And I think that maybe back to 10 months before, if you told me I would be here in the media and I will tell this kind of big fact to the world, even I cannot believe, because everything just happened. And I'm pushed by the situation, created by the Chinese Communist Party, by WHO, and also when I face the crisis in the world, I'm pushed forward to do these things. And for me, everything just going gradually, no plan. But as I said, I was a doctor, I was a surgeon in the ophthalmology before, and also I do the experiment in the virology, immunology for so many years. So I'm trained as people who won't be very emotional in the difficulties, in front of difficulties. Right. And these things help me to, when I face the time I have to escape from Hong Kong, and even in January, when I make the decision that I have to release the information to Mr. Mulder to YouTube, and even until now I publish my publications, I will be a little bit maybe nervous and especially in the beginning, a little bit scared. But these things are not very big. It won't be enough to influence my behavior or my thinking. So basically, I can tell you, I think I live in a smooth life. Although situation change outside, but for me, I was doing as who I am, and I'm doing what as who I am. I'm doing the things I think I should do, and it's the right thing. Push forward to the fact. That's all.
Okay. Do you fear for your safety now?
I think I'm safe now because I'm under the protection. But still, I face to the attack from the nation. The nation power come from the big country like China, and also they influence the whole world by manipulating the organization, by recruiting a lot of people, both online and in the reality. This is a very big problem to me. So I have to be careful, but I'm not fair of that. From the early beginning, as I said, when I make the decision, I actually, at that time, no one protect me. So I just expose myself into the life threats. What I want to do from that time to now is just to deliver the message, deliver the fact out as much as possible. So I think now what I can tell people is I feel that I'm protected. But before even that, what I want to do is just as much as possible, try my best. So fear won't be helpful in this situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm curious though, because there's people in America that don't want you to say this message too. So you got the Communist Party in China, the World Health Organization, and you've got a lot of people in America, I'm guessing people like Dr. Fauci and the CDC and other places that also don't want to hear your message, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Is the censorship worse in China or is it worse in America?
It's up to what kind of censorship. I think we all know that in China, even you want to go to Facebook, you want to use Google, you want to use Twitter, that is, forbidden. It's banned in China. So that means even common talk is also suffer the censorship. And WeChat, TikTok. So this overseas version is also different as people are using in mainland China. So that version in mainland China is more restricted. Basically, it's easy to trigger some sensitive word, even you don't know that it's a sensitive word. And then you get automatically censored. And then later there will be some person handle this case if they think it's important. So it's like all the other type of surveillance, like cameras in the street, like in the publication field. So these things get very strict censorship in any aspect in Chinese people's life. But in US, I mean, I don't want to comment about political things or other things, just based on scientific word. What I know is in the COVID-19, people also get censored. For example, hydroxychloroquine is used for decades as one of the most safe drugs in the world, recommended by WHO. And for kids and for pregnant ladies to prevent the malaria, to anti the other type of disease, autoimmune disease like this. And also it was shown to be useful in anti-SARS. The SARS and SARS-CoV-2 share many similar mechanisms, although SARS-CoV-2 is an enhanced version of SARS. But here, WHO and CDC and the other people, I don't want to point out the name, I think people know them, they try their best to suppress, to cancel the trial and use of hydroxychloroquine in prevention and early treatment in COVID-19 in such urgent time, which is very irresponsible and very rude. So this type of censorship also stay in US and other countries, but it looks more invisible than in China.
Very well said. So there's still censorship, but it's less obvious as to what's happening.
Yes.
Right. And you were censored on Twitter. We've been censored on YouTube for talking about anything COVID related, anything vaccine related. And honestly, doctor, I didn't believe censorship was real until 6 months ago when we were censored. We broadcast for almost 9 years, never were censored once, but we were obviously talking about the things that were appropriate to talk about. But since then, the censorship is quite obvious on our social media platforms, but still it's not everyone's aware of it. You know, not everyone believes it, but it's there.
Yes, because it becomes still it's not like in China. They use very rude way to tell you what you can do, what you cannot do. In the Western country, although they try to censor something, they don't want people to notice it immediately. If not, because it's a democratic country, people will go to protest it. But as also I can tell you, like on Twitter, on Facebook, for example, when people share the information from my site about like share my video or the report, sometimes they say they record the video to show the like on the tweet reduced immediately. On YouTube, the same, and the comment is somehow hid by YouTube without any reason. And these kind of things all get censored actually in your daily life too. But without COVID-19, this kind of big crisis, maybe you didn't realize it because they didn't need to recruit such big power to work on censorship for some specific topic before.
Right. Okay. That's very well said. And look, I want to get into your whole story, but before we start, I've got to ask you a question, doctor. Did you expect all of this to happen? You know, when you came public in January of this year and talked openly, I think, to a YouTuber about what you found, did you not know that the Chinese government, the Communist Party, was going to come after you, was going to try to discredit you, and you ultimately might have to leave your country? Did you know that was going to be a possibility?
First, I want to tell that in January, from January to July, I was not in public. It's like in January, mid-January, when I delivered the message out, I told Mr. Lu that I cannot speak out because I'm in Hong Kong. Basically, it's like in China. So he helped me to cover my identity, and he delivered the message. For example, before 19th January, when he delivered the things through his broadcast, I spent 2 days since I contacted him. We don't know each other before, but I had to tell him what it is and explain to him. Since he's a layman, he has to understand that I'm reliable and this is a true message. Also understand how to explain to his audience. So we work together from 17th to 19th, and even in his broadcast, if you watch it, you will see he's reading something. That's the message. I was watching his broadcast, also crack him through the text. So I delivered the things in this way until I left in end of April, left China. And even later from his broadcast for some professional things, I deliver my message like that. And until mid-July, I come to Fox News, expose myself. When I was in Hong Kong, before I contact him, I know clearly I will get disappeared because first, as I mentioned, my supervisor warned me even before and after I do the secret investigation. So basically what I'm going to do cross the red line, and that means I will be disappeared. Also, you see Hong Kong movement started from last June to now. I'm the one in Hong Kong watch these things through the journalists from the front line. I have friends who join the protest or we talk about this. We know how dangerous to tell the truth. Anti-Chinese Communist Party reveal the truth to the world. So I can tell you a story that the day when Mr. Mulder delivered the message out, so that is by Beijing time, 19th January in the evening. So that afternoon, I was in the University of Hong Kong, the main campus library, start to write more things to him. And suddenly my WhatsApp cannot deliver any picture, cannot deliver any voice. He was sleeping because he's in US at that time. So I thought I was targeted because already after 2 days working, I may be targeted by the Chinese Communist Party. I was very scared at that time and nervous. I removed WhatsApp and install again and try to use it to contact other people. Still doesn't work. So I run out of the library, just use Skype to deliver my photo, my real identity, and tell Mr. Mulder that all the information I leave to you, you can speak out. If you lose contact with me from now, please tell people I won't commit suicide. And this is me. I don't have any problem in my life, in my career. So because commit suicide is a word that Hong Kong protesters well know. Once they are disappeared, they get arrested, they get killed. The government just announced that, oh, he's disappeared. And later, if you see the body, they will tell you they commit suicide.
Wow. Wow.
So I just make the statement to him. Although later it was shown that it was a global, temporarily some problem happened in WhatsApp.
Okay, so it wasn't them, in fact, but you were just being careful. And again, just to clear this up, and we'll get into this, it was in January of this year where you spoke to this YouTuber and first talked about some of these ideas. So you were worried about your safety. I mean, Dr. Yan, if you had stayed in China, would you be dead now?
You even don't know me. If I'm in China, you know those kind of surveillance, those kind of things. Even when I leave China, right, just within 4 hours, when I escaped secretly, and the Hong Kong policemen know that I get disappeared, and then they report to the Beijing, the Ministry of State Security, also quickly respond to Qingdao, my hometown. And the policemen and the other people from different departments went to my home in Qingdao, questioned my parents, asked them to bring me back by, using different way. And also they went to search my Hong Kong apartment. Also they recruit the University of Hong Kong staff, students by the order from the Vice Chancellor, Professor Zhang Xiang, to search all information about me. And on the WeChat, basically it's a most wide accepted social media in China. From WeChat, my alumni, they work with the government and tell all the other people that Meng is in a criminal case, and you have to tell all the things you know about her because she has no privacy now.
This happened when you left in April. They did all of this.
Yeah, more than that, they also recruit the cyber military people from Meng. They spread the rumors of me online, said I'm kidnapped and I was holding a kind of small house without freedom. And I'm the hamster keeper, liar, know nothing. Also, they use a fake Facebook account and fake Twitter account, pretend to be me to tell these lies. And the University of Hong Kong Also, from the day I left to mid-May, 11 May, it was my annual leave time. I put annual leave, but they immediately shut down my portal. I cannot get login to my email, and they deleted my website online. It is 404. All these things happened to me. So if I was not escaped successfully, basically no one will know me, and they won't admit I'm the one who get disappeared because of this kind of things. I may be just one number or even not the number in a dead body.
Where do you think you would be right now if you were still in China? Would you be alive?
I mean, in Hong Kong, right?
Well, yeah.
They already targeted me. They want me disappeared. That's why I got intelligence from Mr. Muda and escape under the help from people.
Okay. All right. So you won't say what would happen to you, but you might not be alive if you stayed there.
Most probably not life or dying. I mean,
Okay.
the point is people won't know me because I was not in the public at that time, and there is no chance I go to public or tell the things in the like now.
Okay. All right. And when we finish, I want to find out how you actually got out of Hong Kong. I know you flew to LA and then you met with the FBI and then you flew to New York City. I want to get into that. But first, let's talk about why you're here, which is some of the findings and some of the journey you went through starting in December of last year. And from what I understand, there are kind of 5 points you've made, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think you kind of want to talk about 5 things. First of all, there's a cover-up in China about the SARS-CoV-2 outbreak. At the time, there was already human-human transmission, which you want to talk about. It was a highly mutated virus that could lead to an outbreak, you thought, and there was no intermediate host, as in no wild animal host. And then finally, you concluded that it wasn't from nature. But maybe you can walk me through how you came to those things. In December of last year, you were responding to a quote-unquote pneumonia outbreak in Wuhan. Is that right?
Yes. SARS-like virus, no new pneumonia in Wuhan.
Okay.
I write this 5 points in 19th January that Buddha's show. So based on my intelligence, my experience, and my knowledge in this field, that's the thing I write out. I reviewed actually, because it's not made up by me and it's verified already. First, from December 31, when I first time get into the secret investigation, I already got the first-hand information to tell me that there are over 40 cases in Wuhan, more than 27 claimed by the government. Remember, this is confirmed cases. And 1/3 of these patients has no history in the seafood market. So that's why they tell 27. And also there were already SARS-CoV-2 virus genome detected. Although you don't know the name, you know this is a new virus, but the genome is detected in Wuhan. But government don't allow them to report it. And also, there were family cluster happen that shows clearly this is human-to-human transmission.
And no wet markets, no animal species were involved. You're certain that that's not what happened.
A wild animal, it is like Wuhan government insists that, China government insists that this one come from the seafood market, from the wild animal. But before 1st January, they clean from 1st January, they clean the market. Before that, the government collected 33 environmental samples from that market without the real expert from overseas, from Hong Kong. No, they are not allowed to do that. So basically, government brings some people there to collect the samples. Only one of them is positive. The positive one without any more evidence inside. It's just water. So you can imagine how could they tell you this has to be an animal host transmitted virus without evidence, and then they immediately clean the market. Also, at that time, important thing is China government put the confidential guidance for doctors to diagnose this pneumonia. So in the 3 criteria, all the 3 has to be matched at the same time, including the symptoms. Has to be fever, cough, this kind of symptom. Has to have the image result, like the lung X-ray or lung CT. And then has to have of course, they have to get the positive result. The last thing is they have to have the history in the seafood market. So this is a very strict way. You have to have this one. That means they deny the human-to-human transmission. They include those cases. And this is purposely done by the government.
Okay, so they ignored all the other cases because they didn't fit those criterias, which meant the count was very low, especially in the beginning.
Yeah, and also not only beginning, this even until mid-January, I review it, they don't admit so many patients, right? They only admit 60 cases before I review it. At that time, no protection among the medical staffs in the hospital faced to this unconfirmed but highly suspicious patient. Basically, this patient match maybe all the criteria, and also they are excluded for other pathogens like influenza, TB, all these things. They only need to get final diagnosed, but government is the one who is responsible to announce the result. The hospital is not allowed to handle this test. So the result is purposely postponed by government. The medical staffs are scared because they say the pneumonia is not as government said. And they are scared because government doesn't allow them to discuss about it. So this one gave a big potential, public health risk. That's why I said without control, there will be big outbreak because Wuhan is the biggest transportation hub in the world.
Okay, and so they admitted 60 cases. How many cases do you think were actually there at the time of COVID?
I mean, you may never know the real cases because the data is manipulated, as I said, first from the way they diagnose it, and then from the way they admit it. And also later they have, from my intelligence, they have many other ways. Basically, government said they don't want so many cases. So people down there use different way to handle the number of cases. But what I can tell you is even our government, Chinese Communist Party government, has to admit it to 196 cases within 4 hours after I deliver the message out, because they realized someone pointed it out from inside. And also the next morning, they just announced that patients come out of Wuhan in north cities, in south cities. Also, they put it to the SARS-CoV-2 level from the common disease level to the SARS level as an infectious disease issued by Chairman Xi.
They changed their story after you came public on that January YouTube.
The same day after I reviewed, the next day after I reviewed, they also admit human-to-human transmission. All has done on 20th January, and 3 days later, lockdown Wuhan.
So if you hadn't have spoken to that YouTuber, they might have never admitted there was a human-to-human, and there might not have been a lockdown, which could have meant the virus spread even more.
They don't want, at least during the Chinese New Year time, they don't want people to know it. And during Chinese New Year time, that means from mid-January to even early February, it's the biggest transportation in the world. Chinese people all across, like Wuhan is the center, is a hub. They go around Wuhan and go all over China and go to all over the world. Right. So that will be disaster.
I saw the New York Times had an infographic, video graphic, I think in March or April, and it showed how I think 1 million people in Wuhan went home for Chinese New Year, and you would have guessed would have potentially spread this virus to a lot of places that probably then made it onto the planes, that made it to the U.S., etc. Now, if you happened to have, if you hadn't have made your announcement, they might not have even stopped the lockdown. If it had been made a month earlier, they probably would have locked down earlier.
Oh, sorry, could you make it?
I mean, if you had been able to discover this a month earlier, then perhaps they would have locked down Wuhan earlier and admitted human-human transmission and reduced the spread of the virus.
They won't do it like that.
They wouldn't do it. Okay.
Yeah. So even we revealed it, still they only locked down Wuhan and later locked down China, but they let people go over the world.
Right. Right. All right. Well,
they don't admit that people has no symptom will carry on the pathogen and spread it until after April, the other expert in the world pointed out. So they start trying to admit asymptomatic people Remember, I told you the symptom is very important thing in the beginning. They put the diagnosis case.
Right. The symptoms became the diagnosis, but then the asymptomatic people, they couldn't diagnose. I mean, look, I was going to wait till the end to ask you this, but why would the Chinese Communist Party allow something this dangerous to spread to a nation of 1.3 billion people and potentially the world? Is it in their interest for this to happen? Why do you think they would allow that to happen?
What I can tell you still, the real motive, you have to ask the people who makes the decision and who did this. They are the one know this motive. We are always too kind, too innocent to understand this kind of evil motive. But what I can tell you is first, this is intentionally released from the lab. Never be the accident. The second thing is Chinese Communist Party, they care about benefit. They love power. I mean, I'm the one who was born there and grew up, stayed there over 30 years. I can tell you that the people's health, individuals benefit, never the things they care about. So you back to say the decades about their history, from New China established to now, Cultural Revolution, starvation, and also Tiananmen event, now Hong Kong protest. And we know they try to manipulate using the gain of function experiment to change monkey's head, and also doing the HIV gene editing babies. All these things happened in China. And for Chinese people, we know more social issues led by the Communist Party government. So we are not surprised to see this, although it's still, I mean, more evil than we can expect it.
Okay, understood. So you're not surprised that they wouldn't put the people first, but you're not speculating on the motive, but you believe it was intentional that they released it from the lab. I mean, you believe it was created in a lab, but you also believe it was intentionally released.
Not only I believe, I have the intelligence evidence and also I have the scientific evidence.
Okay.
So as I can tell you is, first from the scientific evidence, as I show in the first report and the next coming report, people will say how Chinese Communist Party use their labs, use their scientists and the collaborators all over China to work for this. And they have working for decades to find out the interested unusual zoonotic virus which is suitable. And also they found out one by Chinese military lab, the Zhoushan bat coronavirus, I said as a backbone of SARS-CoV-2. And the technique they are using is a technique they always use in the other publications. They are good at it. So it's like you have a lot of material like Lego, you place Legos. And the techniques they are used, although it's not high advanced, but it's very convenient. And it's very traditional, classic. So they leave their own pattern during the procedure inside as evidence. This is the way they always using to do.
Okay. So they created the virus and they have a patent for that virus they created. So it's unique.
Not the virus pattern, it's their pattern in conducting such experiment.
Okay.
They leave the evidence in the virus genome. And They even publish many papers to say we are doing this, using this, we show they are the expert in doing that.
Okay, and if you had to explain this to like my grandma, how could you explain to her that this was for sure not transmitted from an animal, that it was for sure created in a lab? I mean, does it have like a fingerprint, or how would you explain to someone who's not a doctor that you have the proof that shows it was deliberately created?
So there are something you can image. First, so this virus genome is like fingerprint. There is no other parameter you can induce in. No definition, no the word game. You cannot play on words that that word means something, just like this. It's solid evidence. So basically you're screening the virus genome and you say it is in the SARS-CoV-2 consistent of the 30,000 nucleotide. It's basically like 30,000 English letters. So these things from that, you see this part is changed, that part is changed. And you see they leave the evidence, like copy-paste by leave some glue, like that. And this virus, before it was not harmful. Come from bad, not harmful. If you see bad virus can attack human after years of natural evolution, yes, it can be. But how this virus look like? It's like a cow with a deer's head, with rabbit's ear, and a monkey's hand. You may see this cow looks different as the other cow, maybe more like a sheep, but it's not combined like Frankenstein in this way. And the most important things, after this kind of combination, all the parts come from the known things like SARS, like other lethal viruses like Ebola, high pathogen influenza, avian influenza, and they come to the right place in a very delicate way. They work and get together enhanced to target human without any procedure need to get adaptation.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. And I like your analogy that as opposed to, one cow, say a brown cow becoming a brown spotted cow, you have a brown cow that now has a monkey's paw, a goat's head, all these other pieces that are also coincidentally perfect for damaging and infecting humans. And so when you see this as a scientist, you say, come on, this is obviously manufactured. I don't see other iterations. I don't see a natural evolution. I see all of a sudden this Frankenstein is there. And
yes.
As a scientist, it's obvious to you.
Yeah, and also the material only from the Chinese Communist Party, discovered, announced, owned by their military lab, the Zhoushan bat coronavirus ZC45 and ZXC21.
Okay, so they claimed ownership of it as well.
Yeah, before they had publication when they discovered this from the Zhoushan bat in 2015 to 2017. They have English paper to tell people this bat virus is unique and it cannot affect human, but it may lead to the potential risk. And also later they have done the different type of the downstream experiment.
Okay, so you believe this virus was created 4 or 5 years ago?
No, this virus was discovered. After that, they have to understand, because you always go to search, the Chinese Communist Party encourage people to search this kind of unknown zoonotic pathogens. When you search that, you have to select, and then you found something you are interested in. You have to spend time to understand the character, understand the nature of this virus, and finally you make decisions that this one we want to try more things. And based on that, I reconstruct their procedure in producing this one. So minimum, around 6 months with the material, with the scientists and their technique used inside, you can get SARS-2 virus from this bad coronavirus.
Okay. All right. So just an off-the-wall question. Since you believe that this virus was intentionally created, human-made, does that mean potentially they've also created a vaccine for this?
I worked for vaccine development for 5 years in the top lab in the world, the WHO reference lab. I have my patent of universal influenza vaccine on pending now. What I can tell you is there is no medical purpose from this virus. I can give you an example for laymen to understand. So you have the real gun and you want to give it as a toy to your kid. So you have to remove the bullet. You have to remove the harmful part, and you even want to change the cover into plastic to make it safe. But here, it is like you keep the whole gun with bullet, and you put a knife, sharp knife on top, and then you put a missile on top. So you give your kids that, oh, I was going to make a toy for you. Will you believe that?
So is this your reference to a vaccine?
The vaccine means you should attenuate something. If you want to make the vaccine based on this pathogen, you have to make it not harmful to human, but keep some function can trigger the memory from your immunity. But definitely doesn't mean you equipped several more enhance the function to enhance the lethality and then release it out.
Okay, so you're saying they wouldn't manufacture this virus to create a vaccine. That wouldn't make sense.
Totally opposite way.
Right, totally opposite way. So they wouldn't build something more dangerous to create a vaccine. But I guess my question was, do you think they have a vaccine for this dangerous virus, or do you even think one can be created?
What I want to stress is vaccine. This word doesn't mean the magic term that you have vaccine, you overcome this pandemic. No. First, we don't have a vaccine because this is a high mutant virus. So it is going around the population all over the world and in such high speed. So it is mutating at any time. So you have to, that's why for influenza, it's also similar, it's high mutant, right, all over the world. We have to try to make universal vaccine. If not, the annual seasonal vaccine sometimes cannot protect even more than 40% of population. So this doesn't mean we cannot have vaccine, but it means we don't have the efficient vaccine. And also here, for this virus, it is SARS-2 virus. Basically, as I explained from the structure and the function, it is an enhanced version of SARS-1 virus. Remember, people have never had the SARS-1 virus go to even clinical trial 2 phase because there are some original problem happened. SARS-1 virus can lead to some big problem when you try to give the immunity to people. For example, antibody-dependent enhancement. That is, you can consider as a side effect if you try to give the simple vaccine by trigger the antibody. Also, the immunity from the SARS-1 virus, and now we see the SARS-2 virus, the data, is not good enough. So you cannot keep it long. Even you have the magic vaccine, you have to have the good antibody level in your body, or again, the memory, good memory. But seems they don't have this good capacities according to the data. And the last thing is, this is the one released from the lab. Virology lab is not like maybe the car producing factory. You just have one car at the same time for one type. No. Virology experiment also based on the trial and the random result. That means whatever project you are working on, you never only have one exact strain of the virus. You have other candidate during experiment, and you try and try. So you basically have a lot of group of different candidates. So this one can be released from the lab. What about the other ones? Even not SARS-2, even not coronavirus. How could you imagine you use one vaccine to get rid of this pandemic in the future?
Because there could be more strains that are out there that could come.
These are other one. Maybe next time enhance the Ebola, who knows?
Right. Okay. So if this was actually human-made, which you believe it was, and released, then they potentially have thousands or millions of other similar Frankenstein-type viruses that could go out there that you would, again, need to go through the entire vaccination research process again if you could find a miracle vaccine.
You have to first, you want to find the solution. Vaccine is just one of the solution, and drug is the other solution. But all this type of solution based on the fundamental things that is solve the problem from the beginning. It's like as doctor, you treat the tumor. You have to cut the tumor and use maybe chemical treatment or the radiology treatment to reduce the site, reduce the cancer cells, they are left inside, and then give other type of drug to maintain the result, right? So here it's like the tumor, I can say it's like the Chinese Communist Party regime because they are the one who lead to this problem. If you don't remove it, always there can be more tumor come out again and again. So this is the fundamental thing. You have to treat the fundamental reason and then think about the other way like vaccine, drugs, prevention to control it. Finally, give people the safe future.
Okay, well.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.